They created a bubble with all of this cheap money. The housing market, the equity markets, the economies should have crashed in Europe, should have crashed in Australia, should have crashed in the United States. They pumped in unprecedented amounts of cheap money between the central banks lowering interest rates the way they did and the governments flooding in all of this cheap dough. They created a bubble of unprecedented size in modern history. We've seen nothing like this. So what's going to happen? Well, here in the States, the housing prices estimate went up 40% in 2 years. Wait a minute, 40% in 2 years? While businesses are going out of business? How could this happen? All right, so is there going to be a correction? Yes, there's going to be a correction. But think of how high it went. Are you going to see a 40% decline? We don't believe so. But there are the wild cards. And that's why, when people say, I always make it clear, no, nobody could predict the future. We do trend forecasts. There are too many wild cards, whether they're made by nature or humans. So let's look at the two wild cards being played now. And we got to talk about inflation and what's going to where things. The Ukraine war, crazy wild card. Who would have thought of this would have happened a year and a half ago? Oh, three things. And now it's over there in Australia, United States, those lousy Chinese, we got to do everything we can to stop them. Okay. You're going to fight the Chinese? You're going to bring that up now? You're going to, how dare they take Taiwan? What the hell do I care? This has been going on with the Ming Dynasty and them for how many centuries? Oh, no, we have to stop it. We have to bring freedom and democracy. Oh, yeah, you Australians. Yeah, wasn't Gallipoli great? Did a terrific job. And now it's going on in the Middle East. Not my words, but from the Financial Times, the Wall Street Journal, the extreme right-wing government of Netanyahu in Israel. And now they're talking about, will they attack Iran? Okay, attack Iran. Now I'm mentioning all this because of the wild cards. And the wildest of the wild cards is more inflation. And what the inflation number is going to blow up is if there is a military conflict in the Middle East between Israel and Iran. They have protests going on now in Israel every week. Hundreds of thousands of people taking to the streets because of the judicial reform they want to do, which basically means there is no judicial anything. The politicians are in full control. So the people are taking to the streets. One of my sayings is when all else fails, they take you to war. If there's a military conflict, you're going to see oil prices, Brent crude, go to above $130 a barrel, US dollars. That will crash the economies and it will crash equity markets, housing markets. It will bring everything down big time. So we don't know where that's going to go. The same thing with the Ukraine war. If this thing continues to escalate, energy prices are going to keep going up. So will there be a housing? Yes, the housing's definitely going to go down. But the bigger one in the States is the commercial office sector. We have an occupancy rate, according to Castle, that's Kastle, 50.4% office occupancy rate. Wait a minute. Half the people are going back to work than before the COVID war? Yeah, that's right. How about all the businesses that depended on commuters going out of business? A third of the dry cleaners are dried up, gone. Now look at the hotels that used to have business travel. Business travel has not come back. It's not going to come back. And the office sector, building sector was already overbuilt before all this happened. Now let's go back to you talking about raising interest rates. Oh, now you got to pay more on those variable rate loans while you have less tenants. You are going to see a crash. Yep. And it's an office building bust that the mainstream media is now just barely talking about, that we warned about 3 years ago. That's the one to keep your eye on big. In the States, yes, we're going to see a decline. New mortgage applications in America just hit a 28-year low. Now you're going to raise interest rates. Mortgage rates are going to go up. That's going to keep going down. But here's the difference. When we had the bust that happened with the panic of 2008, We had the subprime mortgages, the bankster gangsters. Hey, you don't have a job? You're deep in debt? Don't worry about it. Here, sign over here and you could buy a house. That didn't happen this time. So yes, you're going to see a sell-off, but we don't see a bust in the States yet. As I said, when all else fails, they take you to war. They get your minds right off it. Yeah, what followed the Great Depression? What followed the dot-com bust? The war on terror. Our magazine, the Trends Journal, in October 1999, we had forecast dot-com bust by the second quarter of 2000. And it did. Busted in March of 2000. The NASDAQ was down like, what, some 60-something% before 9/11. We're going into a steep recession. 9/11 happens. You got a little clown of a nobody boy, a daddy's boy born on third base, George W. Bush. We're going to get that guy Osama bin Laden, dead or alive. 88% of the people swallowed the crap coming out of that clown's mouth. But forgot all about the dot-com bust. And then they created the next bubble with the housing market and the derivative scam. They're going to do the same thing now. When you go to war, it brings profits up. People get their minds off it. And I believe that's what they're doing. They keep selling war, and it gets the people's minds off of the problems that are existing. And we're talking about the whole system and central banks. We had a clown, arrogant, you're talking about taxes. Woodrow Wilson gave us World War I, gave us the Federal Reserve, and gave us federal income tax. We didn't have them before that. Yeah. We need those tax. We're a Yankee Doodle dandy, a Yankee Doodle do or die. Do or die? Oh yeah, we got to go over there and save the world. And the people march off. They're doing the same thing now. People have no idea of anything. All they do is swallow the headline crap. We are in for the worst socioeconomic and geopolitical disaster in modern history. And look how low it's all gone for everybody. 64% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. You go to LA, you want to see homeless, San Francisco? Before I left my heart in San Francisco, you bet you did. Holy, well, I can't believe what the place looks like. One after another. America's middle class has shrunk 11% since 1970. This was the land of opportunity. Now, get a job at Walmart, get a job at Costco, get a job at Hannaford, get a job at when I was a young guy, they had hardware stores, stationery stores, drug stores, grocery stores, all gone. The chains own everything. The chains. And all we are plantation workers chained to the chains. And again, I just gave you the data. Oh, I forgot one. When the arrogant bankster bandits brought those interest rates down and the government's pumped in all that money, that cheap dough, merger and acquisition activity in 2021 hit an all-time high. Bigs got bigger. The bigs got bigger. They could give a flying crap about the people.